Okay, welcome everyone to the to another series of the student webinar. My name is George Lupamtali, and I'm the community liaison at BongoHive. And we are privileged to have Mareta, who's going to lead a session today on finding your hustle. Just for if you join us for the first time, this series is an extension of the BongoHive X, BongoHive X, which is our student-focused programs, and we want to teach and inspire students to this new norm, to provide a space where students like you can learn and ask questions and add value to the world around them. Just introducing Mareta. Mareta is she's an economist turned marketer, and she currently works for BongoHive as the marketing and comms or marketing and communication lead. Mareta, I think you will add more context to what your intros as you begin your session. But today's session really is finding your hustle, and it's pretty much learning about student entrepreneurship, and Marita will also guide us through some examples of how other students have started businesses, and give out some tips on how you can start your own business while you're in school. Since this is going to be a very slightly interactive session, you're not allowed to, obviously your mics and your videos are disabled, but we'll definitely allow you to interact with us through the comment section. So there's a chat tab, which you can throw in your comments, and you can throw in your questions if you have any contributions. But to start off, I will let Mareta introduce herself, but also just a few things that I would like to, we want to know where you're coming from. So you could type your name and school or place where you're coming from, and maybe something that describes how you feel today. So you can just type that out in the comment section. But for now, I'll hand over to Mareta, who's going to take us through this session on finding your hustle. Mareta?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. George, can I share my screen? Or...
Yes, you can. Let me just stop right now. All right. Are you good to go now?
Okay, I hope everybody can see. Oops, let me just turn that off. All right. Good morning, everybody. So welcome to this session of the Hive webinar student series. So we started this series out as BongoHive, and particularly BongoHive X, to be able to interact with the students in Zambia who are looking for something different, looking to get into entrepreneurship, looking to find solutions, looking to be innovative. And we realized that in as much as all the students were working on their university courses now being online, but we wanted to also provide them with some content that like things they don't get to learn at school. And entrepreneurship is one of the things that a lot of you who answered our survey, you wanted to find out more about. So the context of today's webinar is to kind of be an introduction into student entrepreneurship. The rest of the sessions this week are targeted towards digital marketing, social media marketing, how to do content marketing. So tomorrow's session with Lucas is teaching you about design, and Belia's session on Friday is going to be about social media marketing, running a business, because she runs her own social media or digital marketing business. So, but we wanted today's session to kind of be an introductory session into entrepreneurship. It would be weird for you to jump into learning how to run a business without figuring out what your business is. So that's the context of today's session. So objectives, what is your why? Helping you guys figure out what it is that you want to do and why it is you want to do that thing. Um, and then tips to get you started. So I'll run you through the lean model canvas that we use at BongoHive for our Discover and our Lean and our launch program. And also just chatting more about positioning and digital just as a platform for tomorrow's session. So a little bit about myself. My name is Mareta Lindunda. I have a degree in economics and HR. That's a long story. We can talk about it another day. I also have a master's degree in business administration that I focused on international business. I have quite a few years experience in customer service, sales, branding, marketing. And as much as I studied all those things at the beginning, where I actually found my footing is doing customer service and marketing related roles. It's something that I actually enjoy. And this spurs from creative activities. So I put down here the Blogspot and YouTube changed my life. It really did. In about 2011, 2012, the blogging nation got to me, and I would read up all these activities, DIY tasks, and all the different fashion and makeup, all of that was going on. And that helped me to explore that side of myself. And that's why I guess I'm quite decent in what it is that I do. I also enjoy reading, and I call myself an entrepreneur in training. So having started working at BongoHive, you get to be surrounded by so many different people trying to do different things to change the world. And I also, in being in that environment, it pushed me to want to do something different for myself, trying to push myself to starting my own business. And I think that is why I feel comfortable sharing with you, because I'm learning too. So what I've learned, I can share, if that makes sense. Nice to meet you. I'm just reading all the chats from everybody. Nice to meet everybody who is online. And I hope that you find some tidbits to take away from this session. So let's get started. Student entrepreneurship. So in a report done in 2018, they said a quarter of the UK university students and undergraduate were starting businesses whilst at university. So they were either thinking about it, or they had started a business while starting university. And the motivation behind this, 43% of them said they were pursuing a hobby or personal interest. 38% of them wanted to make money, to have some pocket money. 11% of them wanted some work experience that they could use when they go into the working environment when they're done with uni. The top 6 businesses that they were going into, number 1 was tech-based, second was arts and craft, clothing and textile was number 3. Number 4 was admin and business services. 5 was tutoring. And number 6 was volunteering or charity-based work. And I wanted to find out from you guys out there, would you think the Zambian statistics on this are different? In that, do you think there'll be more students in Zambia wanting to get into businesses while they're at school? Why do you think that? And in terms of the top 6 businesses that they had, what do you guys think would be the number 1 thing people are trying to get into as student entrepreneurs? Use the chat section so we can have a conversation. I'm happy to stop and read, and so we can have this conversation keep going, so that I know you guys are also listening. Student entrepreneurship. So the top 6, I think, top 6 businesses that were started out, the tech world birthed student entrepreneurs, or student entrepreneurs have birthed the tech world, one or the other. And Microsoft, Facebook, Yahoo, Reddit, WordPress, and Google were all started by student entrepreneurs. So all these, they're men now, and but all these guys started out in their late teens, early 20s. They all had these incredible solutions that they were making in the tech world, and now they're all millionaires, billionaires. So something that can be just a project that you're working on at university can end up being such a great solution that the world can use. And it's something that you should pay attention to. So I wanted to also find out in the chat, if you're a student entrepreneur, have you found your side hustle? Have you found do you know that what you're working on is going to be your next best thing? Just share in the chat what it is that you're working on. I understand that not everybody is going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or, but some people's businesses may be fashion-based. Some people's businesses, maybe you sell jewelry on the side. Some people's businesses, maybe you do cleaning services. So I want to know who you are and what it is that you do, because the idea that you have to have this great big plan that's not everybody's reason for why they're going into business. Sometimes you just need to make sure you're able to buy your groceries for the month. So what is it that you have picked that you can do, that you're doing whilst you're at university, or putting your footing down for when you're done with university? So yeah, please share with me in the chat. I'll be happy to read what it is you guys are doing. And if you think you're the next Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg, please share that as well. So I just had 2 examples here of university businesses, or people that started out businesses in university. So the first one I will highlight is Insomnia Cookies. When I went to their website, the website was down, but you can actually still Google them. Their Wikipedia is still active and it's quite accurate. So Seth Berkowitz in 2003 was at University of Pennsylvania, and one night he was hungry and realized he couldn't go out and get food. None of the food places were open. So he decided to start baking and delivering cookies, and also started baking and delivering to his friends. And in time went by and people started finding out that this guy was baking and delivering cookies, and his business took off. So a year later, he opened up the first store in 2004 in Syracuse, New York. And they currently now have 135 locations. So you can imagine somebody was just making biscuits out of their dorm, cookies from their dorm, and open up one shop the next year. And before you know it, this is 17 years later, and there are 135 stores. So they're all located around university campuses because that's their main business, that's their main people who demand their services. And they deliver up to 3 a.m. So cookies, milk, ice cream, all of that, you can place your order. And they now deliver nationwide and cater to parties. So if you would like their cookies at your party, you can go into the shop, make an order for when it is that you need them, and they'll bring it to you. In 2018, Krispy Kreme bought majority shares in Insomnia Cookies. So you can imagine Krispy Kreme was probably a competitor, and they found it necessary to buy out this business, to buy shares in this business so that it could be part of their brand. Insomnia Cookies, which started out as somebody just baking in their dorm room, got bought out 15 years later by Krispy Kreme. Who would have thought, right? And then just to bring it home, AgriPredict. So AgriPredict is an agro-based company that is started by Patrick and Lisa. They started this business at a hackathon, which was hosted at BongoHive in 2016 in Osaka. And they call themselves the Cool Farmers. And basically, their product is a web and mobile phone agriculture risk management platform, which is built on AI, so artificial intelligence and machine learning. So with your mobile phone, you can I think you download an app, if I'm not mistaken. You download the app and you can take a picture of if you have a pest if you have a pest problem on your farm. You can take a picture, upload it, and then they can help you identify the disease or if it's a pest infestation. And they also keep you updated on weather conditions. So you get to know if there's a storm brewing, so you need to go and cover your crops, and you need to go and get your farm ready for a certain event that is happening, natural occurrence that might be underway if there's a drought. So, and Patrick and Misa are still students. So you can imagine 2016, though, a lot younger than they are now, but they had this cool business idea, and during a hackathon, they found each other and they're like, oh, that idea sounds good and I can help you with this. And they put their brains together and they came up with this incredible business solution. So in one in one way, you can say that students can come up with a business idea, like just using their personal skills, using your hands, using your brain, and saying, okay, I'm going to start baking cookies. Or you can go into the tech world and or use the skills that you're learning at school. They're teaching you how to do software development, how to be a web designer. You can use that to make you start your business. So I think this is my next slide. There we go. So what is your why? If you're looking to start a business, what is your why? One thing people are going into business for, especially now, is financial needs, right? So you know that you want to put food at the end, food on your table at the end of the day. There was a story of the guy from Unza who was selling tomatoes on the side of the road, and Monica Musonda stepped in. If I'm not mistaken, to the Twitter conversation, Monica Musonda stepped in and offered to give noodles to him as part of a package. So financial needs, but it's realizing what it is that you need to do to make your money. Or it could be something you're passionate about. The guys who started AgriPredict are two tech guys, and they figured out how to use their skills to provide a solution. And it's something that they're working on in the agricultural world that they're passionate about. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you have a piece of paper, I have one ready here. Just answer these questions, right? So what are your interests? What are you good at? What is it that you have figured out that you can do without even thinking and you enjoy it? Or is there a gap that you see in the market? Is there a need you can fulfill? Like right now that we're going through coronavirus, and yes, everybody has gone digital, but what is it? Is there something special that you can add that somebody can still use even whilst they're not able to go outside freely? So what opportunity have you seen around you? Do you have any skills that you can leverage on? What skills are you lacking? Do you need somebody who can join you? Do you have a friend who has skills in the skills that you're lacking, and you can come together and form something? And like I said earlier, what are you currently learning at university that you can apply to this business idea that you have? Are you learning accounting? Have you done maybe some bookkeeping before that you can help you track your finances? Do you have any work experience to leverage on? And how much money do you need to start this idea? Why the last question is or isn't important is because a lot of the time we get caught up in thinking that you need to have a certain amount of money in your bank account before you can do anything. Personally, I struggle with this, and this is in a lot of areas of my life. I feel as though I need to be able to see the end picture. So everything must be together before I can get started. I must have my I's dotted and my T's lined. And that's not always the case, right? Like sometimes you have to get outside of your head and look at what it is you have in front of you and like, oh, I can actually do something with X, Y, Z. So what it is that you have that can help you start your business. So again, if you want to, if you're not afraid of sharing with other people what your great idea is or what your skills are, what you've thought about to use as your skill set, please share. I'll be happy to read that. Let me just check if there's anything happening here.
Hi, Mareta.
Hi.
There are no comments for now, but yeah, I'll read it as they go. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Oh, I've seen one from Brian. Thanks for coming through, Brian. So Brian says he started a business fixing laptops and smartphones, and because of the readily available clients, the fact that it addressed a client need, the business did very well, and I gained a valuable skill. And that's incredible. Thank you for sharing, Brian. I think a lot of the time, some people are afraid to jump into it. Like, what is it that you know that you can jump into? Ooh. So what is it that you know that you can do, that you can jump into? It might be a small thing. Other people have started businesses with just fixing phone screens. And that's helped them pay some school fees. That's helped them. Some people have started, even the girls that are doing hair, some people have just started getting into things that look like everybody is doing it. But if you know that you're good at doing something, why don't you try? Isn't it better to make 100 kwacha than to make 0 kwacha, right? So go ahead and just give it a go. It's okay to try. Better to fail than to not have tried at all, right? And I'll share a little story. When I was at university, so it was December 2011 going into 2012. I traveled home and I had a bit of pocket money before I went back. So I went to the Pakati market, the one at Manda Arcades, and I bought chitenge bags. So those these chitenge bags, I think I must have bought them for 25 or 30 kwacha. And I remember I bought 8 bags. So one was for myself and I bought 7 to sell off. My aunt in Zambia bought one of the bags. So I took 6 with me when I went back to school. And I actually have found the picture on Facebook. So I was selling these bags. I set the price at 35 Australian dollars, which sounds like a lot, but it wasn't a lot. It was just something to get by. So I had 6 bags, I was selling them for 35 Australian dollars. And when I traveled back to university, I had a part-time job. I was getting maybe 3 shifts a week, and it was enough to cover my rent. But when I traveled back, I found that the company wasn't doing that well. So they were basically letting go of employees. And when I showed up, I remember calling them and I said, oh, I'm back from my holiday. I'm ready to take on like shifts. Let me know when you need me. And they called me in. I think I did a 3-hour shift, and that was the only shift I worked that week. And then the next week, probably the same thing. And my rent was due every 2 weeks. So when I tell you that I had to hustle to sell those 6 bags, I remember having to do a little discount, and I think I made $180. And my rent at the time was $180 a week, a fortnight. I can't remember, but the money I made selling those bags was literally the money I went to pay for my rent, and that was it. So the downside to that is I had to so I never made any profit, and I never got to, my idea behind it was once I sell the first bags, get the money that I make, ask my aunt to get me some more bags and pay for the transporting. And so I'd keep doing this like Afrocentric business, selling scarves and selling all these things, because getting chitenge material where we were wasn't that easy. So I wanted to do something different, but because I lost my job, the money that I made from it is what I had to use to pay for my rent. So it's a small story, and I'm not the most successful entrepreneur, but imagine if I hadn't taken it upon myself to try and make this business, I wouldn't have made my rent in that 2 weeks. So just if it's a story that helps somebody in something they've been doubting that they can do, please go ahead and do it. You might be able to pay your rent with it. Okay, let's move on. So I also wanted to share, once you've come up with all of those ideas, I also wanted to share, on top of me sharing that story, another story I wanted to share is people who were in my time. So this is 2012, which is 8 years ago. So 8 years ago, as I said before, Blogspot and YouTube and all of that was going on. So these are three businesses run by 3 people that I know personally. So first, I'll start with the 2 ladies on your, is this your right? Is this your left? Okay, meets my left. So I'll start with the 2 ladies. So if you don't know, these 2 sisters called Sakai and Tukia. Ki is on the left and Sakai is on the right with the radio. And they started out a blog. Again, we were on Blogspot. They started out a blog, and they would go around taking pictures of people in the street that they thought looked nice. And on top of that, they would also showcase the different outfits that they were making, the different outfits they're coming together with, and they were using thrifted goods, what we call salaula. So they were showcasing, making fashion cool out of things you buy on salaula. So it was just a blog, right? And as we continued to get onto social media, they also expanded their blog to include social media platforms. So they had their Instagram, they had their Twitter, they had their Facebook. And from 2018 to now 2012, from 2012 to now 2020, these guys' business has grown. It grew from just being a blog, just being 2 girls taking pictures on the street, to being actual stylists. In my opinion, I would call them one of the first influencers in Zambia, because they would start representing brands. They were the ones, they started promoting Lusaka Fashion Week, Zambia Fashion Week, sorry, and all of these different events that were going on, especially in the fashion world, Mafasha would always be the ones who were called there. So that's just one story. Being able to write, being able to curate, and putting it out there for people to see can get you to levels that you didn't know that you could be at. Second one I want to highlight is actually one of my really good friends, Miss Sunshine Store. So when I started my little business in 2012, Miss Sunshine Store also started, she was selling jewelry. So I remember once going with her in the city when we were at uni, and she would buy like 10 pieces of jewelry, 2 of each. And in that, she would then go put it online and sell, right? And she was selling to people in Zambia. So her reason for starting this business is she realized there wasn't many people selling like costume jewelry in Zambia. And if they were, it would be more expensive. And where we were, you could find really good things, even on a good sale or something. And it was stuff that people would still want to wear. So she decided to start a business shipping, buying things from there and posting it on her social media. So she actually had developed her own website. And then when social media took off, she had her Instagram, her Twitter, her Facebook set up, and she would sell it there. And these things would sell out. And I would be buying from her because she would go out and really try and find the best stuff that she could affordably and put it out there to sell. So I think I was having a conversation with her the other day. So she said she ended up closing down her website, closing down her Twitter and her Facebook, because Instagram was where people were more engaged. So it became like an online store on Instagram. So she would post her things and people would either comment on the pictures or DM, and things would sell out in like 5 hours, everything would be gone. And this actually helped her pay for her, like have more pocket money. And when she was going to university to do her master's, this helped her pay for her visa fees. So it was a very small business idea. She started out with, she had $100 and she would pay maybe an extra $100 for shipping at the time. But that grew so much that when she needed to pay for things, that's where she was getting money from. So yes, the third one I'd like to highlight is Food Malawi, which is also a friend of mine. So a good friend of mine is from Malawi, and she would go, when she was home, she would go out to restaurants and take really good pictures, edit them. She studied, I'll put it disclaimer, so she studied communications, if I'm not mistaken, mass communications. And she also bought herself a really good camera just for the fun of it. She wanted to take her photography seriously. So she would go out to restaurants when she's out, and she would take really nice pictures and put them on her Instagram, her personal Instagram. And the post would get so many likes that she ended up changing her personal page to become a food blogging page. So when we all were done with university and we went back to our respective countries, she continued doing this. And even when she was job hunting, she continued doing this, taking pictures at restaurants, cafes, really cool spots that are opening up. And people would actually contact her, people in the opening restaurants, they would contact her to come and eat at their restaurant so she can post it on her page. And that would build interest, that would build like marketing, that was like affiliate marketing for them. So, and even aside from that, now that she had developed this, she could prove that she could do this business. What ended up happening is when she was job hunting, she could actually show that she can do content marketing for somebody, or she can go and be an influencer marketer for somebody. So you can imagine if you're job hunting, but you have something to back you up, which is something that influencer marketers and in the sphere of social media marketing, this is a new type of marketing that has grown, especially with YouTube and all that. So all I'm trying to say is leverage on digital, especially. There's so many opportunities out there. Even if you're just somebody who's developing a tech and you have a tech business and you have a Twitter account, you have interactions. Don't just make a Twitter account about memes and memes and memes. People should also know that you do business on the side. So when people are looking for someone to do something special, say you're a tech person and you have a blog or you have an Instagram where you highlight certain things. And if somebody from a media company is looking for somebody to write, who can write articles on tech, people will know like, yeah, oh yeah, that guy posts funny memes, but he can also write really cool stuff about the tech industry. So you can hit him up if you want something. So don't just sit on your skills. There's so much more you can do with what it is that you do on your daily, right? So, okay, I'll move on from there. So I just wanted to highlight the BongoHive Lean Canvas. So the lean canvas is a tool that we use when, especially with Discover, and when people come in with their business idea or they've started their business, we then show them this canvas, right? And what it is that this canvas is supposed to do is to, what it is that this canvas is supposed to do is to help you work through your business idea. So you start at number one. So number one is your customer problem. What problem does your customer have? So if you can list your customer's top 3 problems. So let's say you're doing vegetable delivery, right? So why are you doing vegetable delivery? Like one of those veggie boxes, which are pretty cool, right? So what is your customer problem? A, they can't get to the shops. Maybe they're too busy during the day. Now that there's coronavirus, everybody is staying at home so they can stay safe. So they're not able to go to the shops. Or 3, the options to go to the shop might be more expensive, right? To go to ShopRite might be more expensive than going to the market, but going to the market it's not a nice place to be. So 2, so you list your customers. Sorry, I need to see that. 2, so list your, I can't move that. So list your target customers and users. Sorry, I couldn't read it. The next thing you need to do is figure out who you want your customer to be. So here you start doing a little bit of research. What do you see your customer looking like? And at the bottom it says early adopters. So what would the characteristics of your ideal customer be, right? And then you go to number 4, highlight as a possible solution for each problem. So problem from number 1, what solution would be the best for the problem? Okay, so you work through that, and that helps you figure out what areas of your business you need to fix, what areas of your business idea you might find like there's a lag or there's no link. So if you are trying to do delivery, but you don't have a way to deliver it, so now you need to go right back and figure out, okay, which part on which part of this lean canvas, where can I add in a delivery system? Where will I get the revenue from? How can I make more money? Where will I add the extra money from to do delivery for this business? So I just put up this example that we have of Airbnb. Hopefully that will draw it in. So what is your customer problem? For Airbnb, poor choice of accommodation, sterile and personal experiences going to hotels. And I don't know if you can read through that. So value and experience seeking travelers, age 20, so that's the target market, open-minded. And early adopters would be attendees of large events in cities with limited accommodation. So that's who the first group of people would be for if you're trying to start something like Airbnb. You're going to target large groups of people so that they can get the full experience. So when they go away on their own, they can each of those people is now your word of mouth reference. So solution and online marketing, hosting, connecting hosts of vacation homes with travelers. Okay, I don't want to run through everything because it's self-explanatory. And if you need this section of the of my presentation, I can make this available for you. However, the lean canvas, if you do have a business idea, the lean canvas is available on the BongoHive website. If you go to media, entrepreneurship, entrepreneur resources, just scroll down and it's there. And I hope you find that useful. So we're coming to the tail end of this presentation, and I hope that it's helped to spark something in your mind on what skills you're sitting on. Anyway, so lessons learned. I called this what I would tell my 21-year-old self. My 21-year-old self who had tried to start a business and somewhat failed and never started again, which is why I'm starting now. So always have a plan. Number 1, do your market research, right? It's sometimes you might have a business idea, but you might not actually have a customer for it. So you end up, say for example, you end up going to AfriShop and ordering all these different things. Yes, I'm plugging AfriShop. So you end up going to AfriShop and you order all these different things that you think customers will want. Say for example, you order, what do I have on my desk? You order a whole bunch of highlighters, right? And you think that you will have customers for this. But if people are happy to go to ShopRite and buy their set of highlighters or go to China Mall because they'll get more highlighters in bulk, then you have no customer. So find what it is that will make your customer have a unique experience with you, that will continuously draw them to you, and build on that. That's what you make your money. And this is why so then create your business plan, use your lean business canvas to examine your idea, to keep iterating it. And then I also said, don't copy others, trust your source. So in don't copy others, trust your source, right? A lot of people will see their friends starting in a certain business and want to jump onto it. Whilst if you're going to be, if you know that you have the skills to do it, if you know that you're going to be good at it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But don't just copy others because you see them making money. Figure out what your business is, what is going to make your business more unique from theirs. So if somebody's looking for an experience with you that is specific to that, right, they can get it there. And if they're wanting something that's similar to your friend's business, they can go and get it there. Because one thing a lot of people need to realize is you're not what you add, what's in your source. I don't mean to keep using slang, but what's in your source is not going to be what's in your friend's source. But you need to figure out what your source is. What is the little spice that you add, and work on that. So number 2 is finances. This is always the big question we get when we go for BongoHive X with students. So come and tell us they have these ideas, but they need funding. It's like, okay, what can you start with now? If you want to start, say, a social media company, for example, you have a laptop, you have your internet, and you're trying to prove that you can do this social media company thing, then work on your social media. Show the company how you have built show people how you have built your own social media engagement, whether it's starting to write more blog posts, starting to contribute to different forums, writing articles for different people, so that when you go and look for your next client, you can show them like, yes, I haven't worked with somebody before, but this is what I've done for myself. Which is why I use the example of Food Malawi, because when she got a job at a marketing agency, she was able to use her personal page, Food Malawi, and say, okay, yes, I haven't worked with anybody before, but I've worked for myself, and this is what I was able to do just by me being able to take pictures, talk about businesses properly. They were able to come to me, and I was able to grow my page and grow interest for their businesses. And also crowdfunding. So I came across this interesting post by, I think there's a girl in the UK who, she does tailoring, and she came up with like a starter friendly sewing business kit, and I think she used £300 as a starting point. But she was like, if I have 10 friends and they gave me £30 each, this is what I would be able to get. So she put down that she would be able to get a sewing machine, she'd be able to get material and all the other resources needed that would be able to start a business. So if I also gave the example, if 10 family and friends gave you 100 kwacha each, you got 1,000 kwacha. Where would that get you? It might not be, 1,000 kwacha is honestly not enough to get you a brand new sewing machine, but could it get you a secondhand sewing machine? Or if not, could it get you even just being able to hand stitch so you can make the next 1,000 kwacha to buy your next thing? Or would it be able to get you material? Would it be able to get you sewing tools? What is it that you need now? What is it that you need that you can do now to get you to your next step? Third thing is marketing. So I work in marketing and I'm big on this, and BongoHive is very big on social media marketing because it's free. Social media marketing is free, but what is important is how you brand yourself, how you position yourself. So I said earlier, and I guess this is where I was going with it, don't just be known for the guy who's doing funny things. Don't just be known for the person it's okay to be multifaceted, but make sure that all the facets of you are showing, right? So people need to be able to know like, oh, this is somebody who, yes, their Twitter is full of funny things, or their Twitter, they'll sit and talk about politics and XYZ, but they also do this. This is what they do as a business, or even as a student. Yes, they're an A-star student in this and this and this, but hey, did you know that she sells hair on the side? Just you have to be the one to market yourself. You can't expect things to happen for you if you're not doing it for yourself. So number 4, don't stop learning, investing in yourself and your business. So if you need to seek mentorship, if you need to take some online courses, if you need to take literature, I'll share a bit more about my personal life as I seem to be doing. So I figured out what it is that I like to do and what it is that I want to do. And I also figured out what I was lacking. So I've enrolled myself in a few online courses, which I'm still completing. Work is crazy right now, but I'm still completing slowly. And that is giving me more confidence to say, when I go up to people and I say, oh, I do marketing. And they say, oh, really? What is it? How is it that you do this? I can show them what it is that I've learned. I can have conversations with people who work in the field and I completely understand what it is they're saying because I've done my personal study and my personal research. So don't sleep on yourself, right? And on the right-hand side, I've actually inserted a few of the books that I read last year, which I thought might be of use to you. So Shoe Dog is the story of the creator of Nike. And he started Shoe Dog. He started Nike from an idea that he had when he was doing his presentation. I think it's for his master's degree. So it was one of his research studies. And after he finished it, he sat there and he was like, I think this can actually be a business idea. Like he kept sitting on it. He was like, I think I can actually do this. I think I can actually do this. And so he went, sat his dad down, asked for a loan, flew to China it must be, and went and bought some shoes. And that's how Nike started. So it's a really incredible book if you're trying to get inspiration for what to do or how to use the things that you're learning at school to get you to the next level. Girl Boss is a story about the founder of Nasty Girl. So she was basically, there's a lot of people doing thrifting right now. And I would really encourage you, if you're into thrift business, there's guys and girls who are doing that, and you're doing an incredible job, guys. I would advise you to read Girl Boss because it will help you figure out how to push yourself to the next level. So she started out on eBay, and she's never been to university or any of that, but she was able to make $1 million from selling thrifted clothes, secondhand clothes, vintage clothing, whatever it is you want to call it. But she started out from eBay, went on and built a website, and went on and had an actual store. Of course, Nasty Girl got bought out, and they had all these financial problems and got bought out after. But she started out with no investment at all. She had none of this. So when she got introduced to the people doing things at Silicon Valley, she was like, you guys get given money. Like, she was very surprised because she built her own business. She made her own $1 million just by being able to be financially responsible and figure out how to make a profit from buying and selling things and making it look more attractive. So there's that. Now I understand that work and life balance is an important part of this as well, school balance. So also in the business that you decide to do, figure out how you're going to give time to your schoolwork, but not take away from your work, and figure out how to do the opposite, give time to your work. So developing a schedule is important. Figure out when you're going to be like, this is school time, this is work time. Now I realize some universities will give you surprise tests and all of that, and life happens, but having a bit of a schedule in place is more helpful than not. Then you can know which days it is that, if you're doing salaula, you know which days it is you go to the market, you know when it is you need to go to the dry cleaners to get things cleaned, you know when it is you need to go and sell things online, and when you can do deliveries, if you do deliveries, and you know when it is you need to be in class. And even your customers will understand. If you share that you are still a student, there will be more understanding than you know. Lastly, I just wanted to plug BongoHive. So we have plenty of entrepreneurship resources because we do realize that entrepreneurship is the future, innovation is the future. So we have a lot of resources available. Our podcast, we have 10 episodes, and it really runs you through different things entrepreneurs go through. And we also have the entrepreneurship resources website, which I said you can get the Lean Business Canvas from. So that is my time. I think I have spent a lot of time talking, and I would really like to hear from you guys about what business ideas you have, what support that it is that you think you need. We can have a chat about that. And yeah, so I just ended with this quote from Mark Zuckerberg: you are better off trying something and having it not work and learning from that than not doing anything at all. It's okay for you to start something and for it to fail, because you learn more in it failing than if everything is going smoothly. You never know what it is that you need to fix. Sometimes you go through it blindly and things are working in your favor and you have no idea why. But sometimes when you fail at doing something, it makes you take a more critical look. And if you want to jump into it again, you know what you need to fix. Like I started my little business, I know what I need to fix. Probably having a stable job while doing that side business would have been helpful. So I wouldn't have had to use all my money for my rent, but it is what it is, right? Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. I will now head over to the chat. George, if you can help me with that. And I'm happy to answer questions on behalf of BongoHive as much as I can.
All right. Thank you so much, Mareta. Very insightful session. And these are things that I go through every day, but looking at the fact that she raised up a lot of things just gave me a reminder of how just like a refresher course and some things that you take for granted, but really have to look into, especially on the possibilities of starting your own business. And also, I think during these times, I think it makes a lot of sense that we kind of like revisit some basics, or revisit those things that we take for granted, especially on the branding side or the business canvas that you shared. So I'll get straight into the questions, and thank you so much everyone for your comments. We just run through. We have guys, Solwezi, and some of them are coming in from Freela, so this is really good. And most of them are also coming from Lusaka. That's really good. Then I'll just go through one question, the questions. So there's a question from Brian, and asking, can we get a walkthrough on how to start a consultancy business?
Wow, okay. Okay, let me just get back to my Zoom. How to start a consultancy business? I think that's a big question. I don't want to lie to you. But I would say, how do you one thing you need to figure out is what is needed in your industry, right? So if I want to go into social media marketing consulting, for example, sorry, George, I need to, there we go. So if I want to go into social media marketing consulting, for example, I need to try and figure out what queries my potential customers would have. This is where I would start from personally. So what type of queries would they have? And yes, I understand not everyone will know what it is that they need, that there is to know in that industry, but if you then are able to come up with questions that potential clients would have, then you would know what skills you need to either improve on or what skills you can list. If you've worked, I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie. It's not easy to get into to prove that you can be a consultant, because you need to be able to show previous experience, previous results. So yeah, I think that's where I'll keep it. As long if you're able to show your previous work and to be able to show the results of it, I think you'll be able to share your services as a consultant. I think I'll leave it there. There are a few consultants that work through BongoHive, so if I can get some insight from them, I will, and I'll share it with you, Brian, because I know you know where to find me. Okay, George, next question.
All right, thank you so much, Mareta. Then there's a question from Rhoda. Rhoda is asking, in discovering my customer problems, what methods of research do you suggest I use, secondary or primary, and why? Alternatively, does that make sense? Or should I read it again?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I would say both of them, they're equally important. So being able to get hands-on information from your potential clients. So if you're trying to sell hair, for example, go on your social media and make a poll, ask about what prices people are willing to pay. Or if you know you have a certain type of girl you're looking for, the girl who's willing to pay 3,000 kwacha, go and ask them. If you have samples, go and ask do you think this hair is worth this much? Would you pay this much? Also, it pays to also use your other forms of research, because then you can see what has been tried and what has failed, so you know where to go from there. I hope that makes sense. I think they're equally important. I don't think one is more important than the other, but I would definitely advise being able to go up to people who are your potential customers and asking them face to face, what is it that what's if this service was provided in this way, or if this product was provided in this way, would you be willing to pay for it?
Mareta, and also what would you advise, in line with our question, looking at the fact that you can't do that face to face during the times of social distancing? What other methods can Rhoda use apart from that? Maybe we can just
like I said, social media is your friend. So if you are able to develop a survey of some sort, tell people, if you're able to tell people that you're trying to get into a certain type of business, or you're doing research for XYZ, you might not need to say that you're doing it for a business. Post it on your Facebook, post it on your LinkedIn, post it on your Twitter, make a poll on Instagram. I'll give an example of Your Hair Goes Zambia, so run by Given. And Given is constantly searching for doing her research on her social media page for what it is that she needs to be supplying her customers with. So she supplies natural hair products, but she's constantly doing polls so that she can see what the people who are interested in buying a product, what it is that they want, what it is that they don't want, what type of content they want her to give, if they want her to do more videos on how to use products or how to style hair. You can always keep going back to using your social media to help in these times. Also share with people, like if you're going to have a live chat on Instagram, so people can come in and actually chat with you about things that they're facing, or things that if you state what it is that you're trying to do, have a live chat with people so that you can interact with them.
I think Rhoda is satisfied with the answer. Because she said that was my next question. So meaning that I think she wanted to find out how that can be done, looking at the current time. So yes. So moving on. There's another from Lisa.
We can work through this together.
Okay, I'll share Marita's details after this, or maybe Marita can just share them during the chat. Okay, there's another question from Muiza. Muiza is joining us from Solwezi and is asking, I'm currently working on a video conferencing web app. Now I don't know how to bring revenue. So I'm currently working on a video conferencing web app. Now I don't know how I can bring revenue. That's the question from Muiza.
How to make it a revenue
Yes.
business? In the age of I mean, in the age of how Zoom and all of these making money, I think part of them are offering like a freemium. So you offer it free for, say, if you're doing a video conferencing that only has 3 people, 5 people, it's free. If you want to get a bigger volume of people, then you can add a charge to that. I don't know if this is going to be helpful, but even if you're looking at like Hootsuite, so Hootsuite gives you a free account, but it's very limited in what you can do. Therefore, pushing you to go and get the next one, because they find value in your service, but it's not enough that they can completely do what it is that they need to do. So then, if someone's like, "Oh, I need to get analytics," and that's only offered if I pay that I think it's $29 a month or something. So try and figure out if you can add how you can structure your service, how you can structure what it is that you're doing, so that someone can come in and try it. And if they really like it, but they want more services, they can pay the next amount for it. Also, do some research. Video conferencing is what Google and what Zoom and all of these are doing. Go through what their product listings are, figure out how you can make it work for you. Like, there is so many apps and things going on that you can Google them and search what it is that they're doing and figure out how they're making money. And if you want to try and find Zambian customers, see how you can localize it so people in Zambia can want to use it. I hope that was helpful. George, you're not helping.
Thank you so much, Mareta. So most of them are comments, and yeah, so there's a comment from Mampalo, and he says, or she says, that I'm a graphic designer and also doing photography. My main interest is digital marketing and branding, and I am finding fulfillment.
Oh, great.
Look at the fact that you are in the marketing space. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
I'm very envious in the photography thing. If anything, I would love to add to my skill sets is photography and being able to use like Adobe Photoshop, because Canva can't be my life for the rest of my life. So I hope that you're finding as a student, how are you finding running a business? And that would be my question to you. How are you finding yeah.
So that's an open question to Mapalo.
Yeah, if Mapalo would like to. Also, Mapalo, tomorrow Lucas is having a session on what is it about? Content design. And Lucas is a graphic designer, photography, digital marketing, and he does all the BongoHive branding. So if you want to tune in for tomorrow's session at 12, I honestly think that you'd have a lot of tips to share. So please come through.
I'll be sharing that as well. Hopefully that you guys can attend that session. There's another comment. This is not a question, but it's a comment as well from Andrew. And Andrew said that I think I'm being drawn into a multimedia business. It's just a hobby, so I'm hesitant to push for it. So this one looks like he's doing that as a hobby, and I'm guessing that he's trying to see a way in which he can turn it into something tangible, maybe a business. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
I'd say go for it. There is being someone that consumes a lot of social media commentary. I was reading an interesting discussion, especially during COVID-19, about people being at home and people saying, oh, you need to, if you don't come out of this having developed a skill and blah, 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 and make your side hustle. Sometimes it's okay to chill, or sometimes it's okay for your hobby to just be a hobby. But if you think it's something, if you're in need of making money, or you think that your input in the world, your input with your hobby would make a difference in somebody's world and you want to monetize it, again, go for it. So I do like very random DIY things. It's not something that I want to start making money from. It's something that just makes me happy. That's not something I want to make a business. But also I enjoy doing social media marketing, and that is something I'm trying to make a business. So you can pick and choose what it is you want to make money from. But my only thing would be, if that is what you decide to do, just commit to it. So yeah, commitment is the biggest thing. Mapalo responded, I can see. So Mapalo said, challenging to balance school and business, but I tried to make some strategies which are somehow helpful. Well, if you'd like any help from BongoHive X in developing that further, please reach out to us, reach out to Sakai at BongoHive, who runs BongoHive X, and George, who is Entrepreneurship. I think it would be more interesting to get even more students talking about their experiences as student entrepreneurs, because it is very involving. Having been somebody who was working part-time and going to school, I know that it takes a lot out of you. But also think about the values and the lessons that you're learning.
Okay, so this one is the last comment from, and this is a comment that was shared from Rhoda. again. She says that I think there are a number of students getting into business and may need to earn extra income and sharing experiences in Zambia. So that's what it's like. It's an open statement. Do you have any comments on that?
I'm encouraged to know that students are not just waiting to graduate to start a business. Because the amount of skills that you learn from running your business, again, I said, even if it fails, but what you learn, and I think that's what we try and do with BongoHive X, is trying to teach students to come up with solutions. It's not just rote learning where you're like, okay, I can get 80% in an exam by memorizing the things that I studied. It's like, okay, what about the things that you studied can you actually apply in your real life? What can you do with the things that you've learned to create a solution for a problem that actually exists? And I think it's about like accessing that part of your brain that is about problem solving. So I'm encouraged that more and more students are coming up with solutions for themselves. And I think that is how we will grow our economy. I'm going into economist talk now, but I think that is how we'll grow our economy, because if we keep on relying on working for businesses that are currently existing, there's only so many jobs that can be created. So we have to create our own jobs. So kudos to them.
Marita, maybe a last question from me. What would you say the future of jobs, or maybe the future of business is? What would you encourage? It's just the last question. You could leave a food for thought. Yeah, but what would you encourage most of the students to focus on? Maybe it could be a skill that they need to adopt as they're doing their current school, or something that they need to just put on that type of thing where it's like, okay, I need to kind of like adopt the skill and learn the skill just for the future, and okay, looking at the way things are going as well. So what would you say that would be?
I think the future is definitely digital. We talk a lot about the fourth industrial revolution, and a lot of the jobs that we know now are going to require a lot more knowledge about how to use like tech skills, right? So if there's an opportunity for you to pick up a skill doing a technical thing, something computer related, go ahead. If it's just learning how to do coding, go ahead. I think that's the next thing, and I think that is, I think it will be the foundation of a lot of the things that are going to on top of that, if you can learn also how to use just a skill using your hands. So the people who are onto something with baking or agriculture or farming, use something like that. Just so you're not, it's not always just about your brain, but also what can you do with your physical abilities. So yeah.
Okay.
But so, like, number one.
Because you're in the digital marketing space, so yeah.
Like it helped me figure out things in life. So
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Marita. And do you have any last comments for us?
I just want to thank all the students and even the non-students who have shown up for this. And I hope that this has sparked something in your mind, or it has woken up that dream that you had for something you wanted to start up. Like don't sleep on yourself. And it's not just about you being a student entrepreneur, but it's about what this can do for you in the future. This might be your Microsoft, this might be your Facebook. So don't sleep on those little ideas that come up to you in the middle of the night or when you're walking down the street. It really could change your life. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marita. So I've shared a link there if you want to attend our next webinars. We have about two more webinars this week. And so one webinar will be on, which is going to be tomorrow at 12 to 13 hours, and creating content design, tips and tricks for social media, which is going to be led by Lucas, multimedia at BongoHive. And we also have another one, which is coming on Friday, and it's going to be from 15 to 16 hours. And this is going to be Social Media Kickstarter by Belia. So I would definitely encourage that you attend and you sign up for these sessions which are coming this week. So this video will be shared. Has been recorded and will be shared with you on YouTube. But if you want, you can also go to YouTube and look for BongoHive, and you find the rest of the webinars there. And if you are on WhatsApp, BongoHive X has a WhatsApp group where you can get updates and you can get some updates. And it's just, if you want to find that community where you find students, you can also find them at on the BongoHive X WhatsApp group. How you can join, feel free to reach out to us or send us an email, and then we can add your name or you can add your number to the WhatsApp group. So thank you so much, Mareta. And I keep on saying thank you. And thank you so much for sharing this content and also just helping us to shaping our minds and also to think more about our ideas and businesses. And hopefully that maybe we can take what lessons that we've learned, be more practical. And yeah, I think Mareta is open to also having conversations or with you. So please feel free to reach out to her. Marita, how can they reach out to you? Should they just tweet or maybe email?
Well,
Should I type
the
an email?
WhatsApp group. I'm in the WhatsApp group. So
In the WhatsApp group.
yeah, join the BongoHive WhatsApp, the BongoHive X WhatsApp group, or
Okay.
catch me on Twitter, catch me on LinkedIn. Like I'm
Okay.
there.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you all. This is the end of the session, and we will see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye.